Yeah, da-da-da-da-da, like this in the background. Christian Bale is, in the nicest possible way, a f***ing lunatic, but that slight unhingedness has led to some of the most intense performances in movies, and it's basically up to you whether the trade-off of him being coconut is worth that. For me personally, his intensity and willingness to go to extremes are a big part of why the two best Batman films ever made are the two best Batman films ever made, so yes, as a Batman devotee, 1,000 times yes. I'm Plumpy from WhatCulture.com, and here are 8 little-known sacrifices that made Christian Bale's Batman awesome. Number 8, he kept his accent to promote the films. Christian Bale, Tom Hardy, there seems to be a trend amongst the scarier of Hollywood's actors that you're never quite sure what voice is going to come out of their mouth. After all, Bale is Welsh, often talks like a Cockney, but when he's promoting Batman films and chewing out technicians, he speaks in an American accent. That's a bit unsettling, but it also shows a startling level of commitment, not just to his character, but also to the production. After all, for the very casual filmgoers, seeing an all-American superhero speak like a Brit off-camera might have an adverse effect on marketing. He's an all-round pro until you mess up his shot, and then he'll kill you with a brick. Number 7, he refused to share a film with Robin. I mean, I know Robin was technically sort of in The Dark Knight Rises, but I hate that weird bullshit nonsensical in-joke, and you should too. He's becoming Batman, but his first name is Robin. Off. But Bale made it clear that the boy Wonder would never get closer to Nolan's trilogy than that whilst he was around. The star evidently thought that Dick Grayson was bat poison and actually stated that he would refuse to don the cowl again if Robin had been made a big part of The Dark Knight Rises. With memories of Chris O'Donnell still fresh in our minds, for that, Mr. Bale, we thank you. Number 6, he hated the costume and used that hatred. The big joke about the Batman suit is that it's impossible for the hero to turn his neck. Then the joke became bat nipples, but let's not talk about that. The suit was eventually refined in The Dark Knight, but not before Bale had suffered through it in Batman Begins, hating it from the off, declaring it's hot, dark and sweaty and it gives me a headache. He kept going, and the discomfort he actually felt fed into the anger of the character. After all, I'd feel like shouting swear to me if it took me half an hour just to have a piss. Number 5, he radically changed his body shape. If there's one thing that Christian Bale hates more than people fixing their lights while he's acting, then it's his own body. In the space of 5 years, he went from Dark Knight mega muscles to junky malnourishment for the fighter, then back to Batman for putting on a bit of belly for American hustle. But no switch is more impressive than the one he initially made for Batman Begins. Coming off The Machinist with his knee-to-sandwich gimmick, he had a quick turnaround to put on the heft necessary to save Gotham. Unfazed, Bale put on the muscle, and if anything, put on too much, causing the crew to dub him Fat Man, until he killed them with a brick. Number 4, his out there audition. If you're in the running to play one of the biggest superheroes of all time, most people will try their hardest to appease the studio. Those people are not Christian Bale. He took a gigantic risk in his audition, which, fun fact, he did inside Val Kilmer's Batsuit. He knew that simple logic dictated that Batman needed to have a special voice, completely dissimilar to Bruce Wayne's, and so the raspy Bat Whisper was born, even though Bale thought, after his audition, that he completely buggered up his chances by doing it. However, that risk paid off. What would have been over the top and silly felt just right within the suit and the shadows and played perfectly into Nolan's vision for the character, although that voice would go on to be an issue of its own. Number 3, he repeatedly lost his voice. Swear to me! Where's the trigger? How did it get burned? How did it get burned? The Bat voice is a huge part of Bale's game, and despite occasionally pitching over into silly territory, it's an iconic addition to the franchise, which is good because it kicked the absolute out of his tonsils, with him losing his voice several times during production of all 3 films. This city just showed you that it's full of people ready to believe in good. I mean, Jesus, my voice hurts. I can absolutely see why. Number 2, more crazy method acting. As evidenced by the fact he does awful things to his body, it should be apparent that Christian Bale subscribes to the crazy approach to acting, and that certainly bled into Batman. Of course, some things come across as silly anecdotes, like his trailer being under Bruce Wayne's name. What's that all about? But looking at the production of the trilogy, there's a real sense he was going all out. Aside from some of the other elements we've already covered on this list, a case that stands out is a moment you think wouldn't require that much method. For the scene where Bruce wakes up following exposure to the fear toxin, Bale actually fell asleep on the set to recreate the character's grogginess, much to Michael Caine and Morgan Freeman's confusion. This is made all the crazier with the fact that this was Bale's first scene with both actors. And number 1, he turned down Batman vs Superman. All the money in the world. That's what they would have paid him, all of it in a big bag. The alleged figure is actually $50 million, which is a stupid amount of money to dress up. Bale steadfastly refused to don the cape and cowl for Snyder, a decision which few can deny was smart, if not admittedly from a financial perspective. Batman vs Superman wasn't great, and even if it had been good, it still would have compromised the neat and tidy way with which Nolan ended his Dark Knight trilogy, so, you know, good job, Christian. Your Batman was great. Now, please don't hit me in my nice face. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter here. I'm Plumpy from WhatCulture.com, and I'll see you soon.